In the beginning, railroad technology was looked at kind of askance by lots of people. They didn't believe in it, they didn't think it would work, and they thought that, it's just an unusual technology because it had not been tried before. In many ways, it's akin to space travel. And, there's a great story I love to tell about the first trip on the B&O from here in Baltimore to about a point 10 miles distant. And that little steam locomotive achieved the speed of 13 miles an hour. And the next day, the newspapers reported on what effect that might have on the human body, that you might go blind or that your ears might fall off. And, I joke that way, but it was an unusual technology. Lots of people couldn't believe in it, wouldn't believe in it, but look at the world today. They were private-public partnerships, and actually the finances and the investors in the early railroads built up to some enormous wealth over time. It actually was the creator of Wall Street in many, many ways. When the founders of the B&O Railroad, conceived of this technology and the route west and the route to Washington, D.C. in the 1830s, they called it a spectacular gamble. So I view the Northeast Maglev project as kind of the continuation of that amazing vision. If you look at a project like this in the many, many years that it's going to be in development and actually under construction, we need to think about the job creation that's here. Not only do we have a whole new system and industry that's going to have permanent jobs, but the construction alone and the design alone will employ hundreds of thousands of people. Railroads have always kind of been just controversial, right? They're never fun when they're in your backyard, but then the economic benefits of it, and if you look at the railroading over time, it was an amazing, amazing technology. It really was the technology that spurred the Industrial Revolution in the United States and made us what we are today. And here in Baltimore was established the first railroad in the Western Hemisphere, not just in the United States, but in the entire Western Hemisphere. So the area between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Maryland is extraordinarily historic as far as railroads are concerned. I like to kind of call it the world's first internet, because as the tracks connected across the United States of America, people were able to communicate. They were able to leave their homes and travel to distant places and come back all in a reasonable amount of time. Family life changed. How and what people ate all changed. So the American lifestyle that we enjoy today and many of the freedoms is really about the freedom to move about the country. When I look at the Maglev project in this Northeast corridor, and specifically between Baltimore and Washington, D.C., it's such amazing technology. And, we live in a world where there's traffic jams and the streets are crowded and people are using bicycles and alternative means of transportation. Well, this is probably the greenest, cleanest, most environmental type of transportation ever to move people. And to be able to move people between commerce centers on the East Coast at such a rapid rate is really, really a game changer. If you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit more than enthusiastic about this project. And the fact that it's happening here, right in my home between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, thrills me to no end. Sometimes visitors to the museum feel like the railroad doesn't even exist or doesn't operate, like it did, many, many years ago. And they look at the railroads as nostalgic. Well, they're not nostalgic at all. They are a huge, vibrant part of our economy, our transportation systems. You look at the railroad companies, the big ones, the class ones, even the short lines, many of them are Fortune 500 companies. So they are moving goods. And if you look around your living room at any given time, I can tell you standing here right now that 80 to 82% of everything in your living room came by rail. Watching, seeing, developing, and actually endorsing this project, I'm very proud to do.